A Fox News alert, America's biggest police departments boosting security in their respective Jewish communities, including synagogues, as Hamas terrorists brutally murder at least, at this point, 600 Jews in Israel.
Our next guest knows all about the push to protect Jewish communities. Lee Zeldin was the only Jewish Republican in Congress when he served as Congressman of New York. He joins us now. Congressman Zeldin, welcome. What immediately comes to mind as I read this are some of the comments that we heard from Ilhan Omar, the Benjamin's comments she made, the vast number of anti-Semitic remarks she's made, but not just her, the failure of Democrats in the wake of those moments to pass a clean resolution condemning anti-Semitism. They were even kind of condemned or called out by their own Congressman Ted Deutsch. Is now the moment where Democrats need to partner with Republicans and condemn anti-Semitism in the halls of Congress?
100%, and I'm sure that they will. And you're already starting to see many Democrats, both the House and the Senate, joining Republicans to stand with Israel, to make it clear that America stands with Israel, that there is no moral equivalency between the good people of Israel and Hamas terrorists, that being a neutral arbiter and being true and honest with the facts, you don't have to minimize in any way, and you should not minimize the rapes, the murder, the execution, the kidnapping of these tactics followed out by Hamas, and the realities of how Iran blesses this, resources it, and the consequences of what that means for the United States. So part of this is in your words, but it more importantly needs to be followed in action in U.S. Policy, especially coming off of just a few weeks ago. The United States, on September 11th, the Biden administration announced $6 billion to Iran. I will say this, as far as the Hamas caucus inside of the House Democratic caucus, they need to make sure that they're speaking out against their own because they can't allow these voices like AOC and Omar and Tlaib to in any way influence the rest of Congress's policy here because those members are absolutely wrong.
You know, Lee, when I look at these police departments plussing up their security around synagogues and Jewish communities, it's not because Americans are suddenly seeking to extract retribution. How much of this is the fact that we have a wide open southern border, we have no idea who's coming across, and there could be the prospects of Hamas sleeper cells? I mean, why couldn't it come to our shores as well, considering our security posture?
I'll tell you, Pete, it's been great listening to the coverage from all three of you today, and especially that last segment, going through the history of what's going on there so that people can get completely brought up to speed. Today, early this afternoon in Times Square, supporters of Hamas will be publicly demonstrating. They're promoting it. It's called the New York City, the Democratic Socialists of America. Democratic elected officials actively seek the endorsement of this group. If you go to their social media, their Twitter page, they're advertising a public demonstration in support of Hamas's rape and murder and terrorism that is taking place right now. So you're absolutely right in being concerned about the ways that people can infiltrate our country. I would take it one step further than that. Not only have they infiltrated our country, they will be publicly demonstrating in Times Square this afternoon.
You know, Lee, Pete, to that point, last night I was going in New York City as it is to walk and pick up dinner, and there's a man yelling along the street, which kind of raises everybody's antennas a little bit whenever he was ultimately harmless, he was just yelling, but I was walking behind a lady, and we were walking right by the Jewish Community Center. And I noticed she just got nervous because I was walking a little close behind her last night. And it just occurred to me, yeah, I would imagine the way she walks through New York City today, to your point, Lee, is a bit different than it was yesterday.
You have innocent, law-abiding New Yorkers who, unfortunately, are now in a position where they have to keep their head on a swivel. This has been going on for a while. It's pro-criminal policies that are getting passed in state capitals like Albany. It's a lack of support for our law enforcement. It's weak prosecutors who refuse to enforce the law. And now you add this on top of it. There are people here in the United States who are looking to do their part to support what Hamas is doing over there. I just got back from Israel. I was there in September, and I brought my wife and my daughters. We were at Yad Vashem, which is the Holocaust Museum. it was filled up with young IDF soldiers who were learning about what had taken place 80 years ago. You just had Danny Dayan on talking about Holocaust survivors being held hostage and taken into Gaza. For us, we believe in freedom of religion right here in New York, in the United States. We want people to be able to live safely and freely, but there is an extraordinarily close bond for Americans with Israel. Many view Israel as our greatest ally out there. So we need to secure our home front. We need to stand strong and unequivocal in our support and make sure that the Israelis know that we're with them. And for Americans, it's as personal as it gets.
And in condemnation of the Hamas terrorists who have killed little children. I can't believe a pro-Hamas rally in New York City. It's unreal. Congressman Zeldin, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.